welcome to another episode of Amputee Outdoors. Today we're going to do a comparison side by side with the little JetBoil camp stove and the Primus camp stove. Okay, so first thing you'll notice, of course, is the size difference. The Primus, much bigger. The JetBoil, much smaller. And of course the weight difference. I don't know what the exact weights are on these. In the description down below, show more. I'll put the specs for both of these so you can check this out if you like. But I mean, it's pretty obvious just holding in my hands that this Primus is significantly heavier. It's still light. It's very light, but it's much heavier than this. The Primus, though, I like because it is a very simplistic design. You have two parts. Get this unscrewed here. There we go. This goes on to your fuel. This goes on the top. Screw that together. Screw it onto your fuel. Now it comes apart like that just to take up less room in your backpack. The Primus is also really sturdy. I tend to be a little bit rough on my things, so having something sturdy like this I really do like. Now, the JetBoil has some definite advantages over the Primus. For one thing, it comes with its own piezo start right there. That little button right there. A nice, easy to use handle for turning the flame up and down. And these little stands for your pot fold down like so. And that folds up, taking up just that much room in your pack. That's pretty nice. That's good. The downside, of course, is that movable parts eventually become, at least in my experience, broken parts. Fiddly bits like this, I tend to break them over time. Now, you'll also notice this area here where the flame comes out. It's nice and big and wide. However, is not as wide really as the Primus. The Primus is very wide. Now if you're cooking a small pot, this is going to be just fine. This might be too big. So I'm going to get these set up and then we'll go into the details of getting these things started in boiling water, okay? All right, hang tight. I've got both these going. I'm going to put on some water now. Got 1 cup of each. There's that one. There's that one. And now it is a race to see which one comes to boil first. Now normally, of course, when you're doing this, you'd have a lid over each one just to help it boil faster. But in this case, we're not going to do that so that we can see the water boiling. Now, the nice thing with the JetBoil, of course, has got that piezo lighter. With this one, you've got to carry the extra weight of a lighter with you. It's not much weight, I know, but every little bit counts for the ultra hiker, huh? And the other nice thing about the JetBoil, it comes with this little stand down here that is used for keeping it stable on some surfaces like this log that I've got them on. The Primus doesn't have a stand, so it's a little bit wobbly. Hi, mountain bikers going by. So it's a little bit wobbly there, but it's fairly safe, I think. Now, about the cost. So the JetBoil here, I got this for, I think it was about $45, $49 with tax. The Primus was, I think, $21 with tax. So there's a significant dollar difference between the two. That's something that for a lot of campers you want to keep in mind. I'm carrying this much weight, but I've spent this much money on it. Where's my value, my return on investment in terms of weight and dollars? Okay. Now we've got some steam starting to come up out of the Primus, and yep, I think I see some steam coming up out of the JetBoil now too. Now of course the Primus has a wider flame base, whereas the JetBoil is much more narrow. It's still a good size, but it's very narrow in comparison to the Primus. Alright, we've got a little more steam coming out of the Primus now. Now of course this is not a very scientific comparison, and I don't have a stopwatch, so I'm timing this with. This is just keeping an eye on it and see which one gets there first kind of thing. But still kind of interesting to see. Now I know a lot of folks have their preferences when it comes to the kind of camp stove they use. Some people like the full JetBoil set where, hey, it's just I'm boiling some water, I'm pouring in my dehydrated freeze-dried food. I don't care about having a pot so much. For some people, they like to make their own meals, and boiling up something like this or maybe having a pan is what they prefer. All the way up. Up. Oh my gosh, this thing goes like a... You know what? I didn't even realize it went up that high. And it is already catching up to the Primus. Goodness gracious. You can see why they call them a JetBoil, right? I mean, it sounds like a jet. The Primus is now starting to reach boil. The Primus is right behind it. The Primus is at boil now. Turn it off. And the Primus just got there too. I'll turn that off. All right. So very unscientific, but I think it was important to note the Primus started out slow, but as soon as I turned up that heat, it caught up real fast and brought that water to a boil in like a matter of what, seconds? So I would have to say, again, very unscientific, the Primus, much, much faster at boiling water, much, much lighter. All right, let me pause this video for a second here and put the camera back at a better angle, and we'll wrap this up. So, one of the other things about a stove is how quickly it will cool after you finish cooking, because you want to be able to pack it all up, put it away in your backpack or whatever, without, I don't know, igniting everything. The Primus, still pretty hot. It's very thick metal that holds onto the heat more. The JetBoil here, it's already cooling to the touch. Thinner metal doesn't hold on to the heat as long. So that's another advantage with the JetBoil. So for myself, either one of these will work. When I'm out camping, 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes difference in how long it takes to boil my water. I'm out camping. It's not like I've got a meeting I've got to hurry up and get to. I can relax, get it boiling, get some other things done while the water's boiling. I'm not in a hurry. In terms of weight, yeah, the JetBoil got it beat. In terms of durability, I'd say the Primus is probably a little more durable because it has no moving parts and is thicker and heavier metal. In terms of price, Primus has definitely got it beat at only like $21. On the side of people like myself that are amputees and you're thinking about weight when you go camping, the JetBoil might be the better option. Now, not necessarily being a ultralight hiker here or anything, but if there's a way you can kind of shave off a couple of ounces, maybe even pounds, that's less weight you're pounding into your socket with every step you take, okay? If you can take some of the weight off, that's a win, okay? Don't sacrifice safety and reliability if you can help it, especially safety. But if you can take a couple of pounds off, a couple of ounces off, a couple of grams if you're going to get down to it that way, that's not a bad idea, all right? So thanks for joining me this afternoon, and as always, there's the subscription button there if you could click on that, and there's the show more button down there. I'll have links to these two items here that you can get online if you like. And if you have some comments, questions, or some suggestions and advice about camp stoves and your recommendations about what are the best camp stoves to use, I'd like to hear about those too, okay? All right, well, that'll do it for the day. Thank you much, and hope to see you out on the trails.